guys, welcome back and welcome to a new dragging video. Today we're doing a Louis Vuitton themed dragging video. We have a lot to get through, so let's get started because we have a lot to get through. Okay, so the first dragging story is from, I'm laughing already, I'm sorry. It's from the Louis Vuitton boutique at Crystals in Las Vegas in Nevada. That is the location. So I had to wait in line, which I understand is protocol. However, if people are spending $5,000 for a bag or $600 for a keychain, I don't think Louis Vuitton should skimp on the personnel that it requires to manage the number of people visiting the store. Despite that, I proceeded to enter and was approached by a concierge who was nice enough to show me around and open what I wanted to see. I had 4 people in my group with me and they were not there to shop but wanted to see what I was purchasing, so they followed us. Then I needed to go to the second floor and the group I was with were enjoying what they saw, so she and I moved to go upstairs. We were told we had to stay together. Not to mention there was a young girl around 10 years old sitting all alone on the couch. Apparently she could not steal, so she doesn't need to stay in her group. Then we were told we had to go in the direction she pointed us in. Then we got upstairs, I saw a purse, I asked to see it, and while I was waiting by the counter, I saw a guy out of the corner of my eye make a hand motion to the lady helping me. He then kept eyeballing me. I felt very uncomfortable, and when I saw him, I said hello. He said hi to me and looked at her and said, "Tell them to stand back from the counter." I could hear him as he was right in front of me. I felt like I was being treated like a criminal. I'm there to spend my money, very good money, and you don't want me to stand at the corner of the counter, as even if I was a criminal, there's no way out of the store. You have one-way directions up and down the escalator. She then told me I need to move back, so I looked at her and told her thanks for her time, but I'm not letting these rude, simple-minded people make a penny out of my commission again. Make a penny out of my purchase, never again. Okay. So I posted this. Actually, I posted this in my, I think I posted this in my Facebook group, or yeah, that's what I did. And a lot of you guys were reacting in there. So I wanted to share it here as well, so we could kind of talk about it and also react. Okay, so there are a few things. First of all, I think people don't understand how horrible groups are for people who work in the retail space. When I used to have my store, groups are horrible. People who come in groups are horrible. I'm sorry. I don't care, because I know that there are going to be some of you saying, I go with my family, we're never horrible. Trust me, you probably don't even know that you're horrible, okay? And I'm sure you're a nice person. I'm sure this person is nice, but girl, she's probably annoying AF with a group of people. Groups are horrible and groups are not profitable for people who work in retail. I'll tell you why. Normally it's only one person in the group buying, so automatically the energy required to kind of give everyone in the group attention means that the CA is automatically losing money, okay? Because you have to give energy and attention to the people in the group. And then also, like, a lot of groups are loud, people touch things like excessively, and sometimes people say things like, oh well, I can go to, you know, XYZ place and I can make something similar, whatever. Like, groups are horrible. So that's the first thing. So already she had one strike against her. Second of all, how can you attack this innocent child who's minding her business, honey? The 10-year-old girl sounds like a very well-behaved child. I would like a child that's well-behaved. And salute to the parents in the world who have well-behaved children in stores. I have so much respect for people's like parents whose kids are not running around yelling, shouting, grabbing things, making a scene, wanting, I don't know, I'm like weird about that. Like, I respect people's parents, like I respect parents who have well-behaved kids. And yes, before you go there, I was a very well-behaved child. So, like, you know, this innocent 10-year-old child minding her business, honey. Okay, she's minding her business and she gets dragged into this woman's dragging review. That's very unfair. A child cannot defend themselves, and this is a child under the age of 18. It's extremely unfair to bring up the child and say, well, how come she's allowed to sit on her own? Maybe she was waiting for her mom or her dad. We don't know what is going on. So why are you bringing up the child? The child is innocent. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So already don't like this person for that reason. You know, it's probably security telling the person don't stand back from the counter. I thought that everyone knew this, like, you don't go behind the counter. I thought everyone knew that you don't, like, go behind the counter. At the Louis Vuitton in Harrods, there was like a counter. They're like counters. It never even struck me to even try and go behind the counter or stand next to the counter. Why? Like, it's obvious, like, you wouldn't do that. Why? Like, they're standing next to the, like, you know, we got there, I was waiting by the counter, saw a guy in the corner saying, you know, tell them to stand back from the counter. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I think that is a fair request. I think this person is overly sensitive. No offense to her, but going in with a group, going in on a, you know, innocent child minding her business, honey. The little 10-year-old girl is minding her business, probably waiting for her mum or her dad to finish what they were doing, and then you going in on them, maybe because the child was well behaved, so she was allowed to sit on her own. And then you're like standing by the counter and you're with your group, like, it's a mess, honey. Big LV wins this one. The client loses this one. The next one is also from the Louis Vuitton Crystals location. We showed up at 1:10 p.m. and waited for 20 minutes. Our bad. Our appointment was actually at 1. We thought it was at 2. We made a mistake. They named the CA in Louis Vuitton's case. See, the CA came up and said, there's no way she can accommodate us. Her attitude was so rude and sassy. She said, well, you can't get your story straight. You said your appointment was at 2. Now you're saying it's at 1 and that you've been waiting for 20 minutes and you haven't. I guess she was psychic, not exaggerating. We did wait 20 minutes. She said she was going to get a manager. She didn't. The thing is, if we make an appointment, we're coming to purchase. I've been a manager in customer service for 20 plus years, and I would never tolerate my staff speaking to a customer like she did. If you get XYZCA's name, don't give her your sale, go to another location, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, you were late for your appointment, honey. Okay, so you need to sit yourself down, okay, collect yourself together and accept that you were late. By the way, fun fact about me, I'm never late to things. And if I'm late, I feel horrible and terrible. If I say I'm going to meet you somewhere at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be there at 12:50 to ensure that I'm there on time. I'll be there at 12:55, honey. You guys came 10 minutes late. Your slot went to someone else who was probably waiting, or went to another client who was waiting. I'm sorry, the client's wrong. You guys gonna be like, it's a luxury store. She deserves to have good treatment. She should also have respect for people's time. Another thing, she doesn't know their schedule. She doesn't know how many people are waiting. She doesn't know how many other appointments are there. Maybe there are people who arrived early for another appointment and they took her slot. So she's gonna have to rebook her appointment, boo-boo. And that is what she's going to have to do. She's bang out of order. And then saying this whole part of, like, the thing is, if we make an appointment, we're coming to purchase. Well, so what? I mean, even if people don't make an appointment, some people are coming to buy. I've told you before, I hate making appointments, and I don't go to freestanding stores unless I'm buying something, like, for sure. Like, I definitely will go there to buy. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, just because you want to make an appointment does not mean that you're better than other people who are also waiting and who are there on time. And I mean, the CA dragged them, honey. Okay, the LVCA dragged them. She's like, well, you can't get your story straight. Look, if a CA has to tell me that, I'm basically a liar. You're called a liar, girl. She called you a freaking GDAMN liar, okay? If you are called a liar, you need to kind of reassess things. I don't know why I find this funny. Like, can you imagine like an LVCA telling a client, like, you can't get your story straight? Like, what time is the appointment? Is it 1? Is it 2? So the appointment was at 1. They thought it was at 2. They obviously got the times mixed. They get there and then they realize that they were late, and then they come and they got dragged, and they got rightfully dragged, in my opinion. Because I think some people are doing way too much, and they deserve these skull drags, if you ask me. I'd love to know what you think about this. LV's winning at the moment, guys. The next review, okay, I posted this as well on my Facebook page. A lot of you responded, so I thought it could be fun to share it in the YouTube video as well. This is also from Crystals. I visited your location on the evening of this day. I got married in Vegas the day before. I make a comfortable living. It's always been my dream since I was a small town girl to own an LV bag. Since it was our honeymoon, my husband told me to just go in and buy whichever bag I wanted. I walked in with my 6-year-old mother-in-law, who was in a hoodie and comfortable jeans, no makeup. Myself, shorts, regular t-shirt, no makeup. All of my tattoos were showing as well. I have many of them. Upon entering the store, a young lady gave me a face of disgust while looking me up and down quite dramatically before throwing a fake smile and asking if I needed help. I said, no, thank you, I'm just looking. I went up to the third floor. There was a gentleman behind the counter, walked by him. I picked up a purse from the display. He started walking towards us and asked if we need help. I said I was just checking the price. As I opened the purse, he smugly said 2,000, whatever, it says the name of the price, while never stopping to assist us, and continued walking past with his nose in the air. I've never felt so disrespected and mistreated into a store in my life. I was absolutely embarrassed beyond belief. It was a true Julia Roberts moment. They made me feel cheap and unworthy. I walked out and began crying. Well, okay, first of all, okay, I have a bone to pick with some of you guys in the audience. Anytime we film these dragging reviews, by the way, there are people who hate to watch my dragging reviews. Okay, pick somebody else, okay? Don't come for me. Come for the people who write these reviews. At this point, I'll have reviews like for the next 20 years. Like I'll be like, literally, I'll be 50, I'll be 60, and I'll still be posting these videos because people keep doing this stuff. First of all, you, okay, go in there looking way too casual. This is Las Vegas. I've never been to Las Vegas. I would love to go. But from what I've heard from my friends who've been to Vegas, like, yes, I know in America it's a more casual thing, like people dress more casually, sportswear and athleisure are like huge themes in America, but this is Las Vegas, honey. This is Louis Vuitton. Like, people are going to look nice in there. I'm sure people look nice, and even, I'm not saying people wearing ball gowns, but I'm sure even if someone's casual, I'm sure that they look very polished, very put together, honey. Their hair looks good, you know, they look snatched, or, you know, their accessories. Even if someone's wearing like casual denim or casual joggers, I'm sure that they look good. She admitted here that they weren't like, you know, looking super glamorous or whatever. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, her tattoos don't matter. I'm sure that is fine. That's not a problem. So, because I want us to just be clear, okay, on where the issues are. Okay, the issue is, I think that she made a few mistakes. The CA who sees her, who looks her up and down, yes, CAs are going to look you up and down in tourist locations where they don't know you, honey. If no one knows you there, they're going to look you up and down and be like, who is this? Okay? The CA who looked her up and down and then asked her if she needed help, she said, no, I'm just looking. Well, you said you wanted to buy a bag. Someone who works at Louis Vuitton asked you, do you need any help? You said no. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but what do you expect? Okay? You're not known there. They don't know you there. You didn't look particularly glamorous. You didn't look super nice, whatever. Yeah, they're going to judge you. It's a luxury store. I mean, what do people expect? I've been judged for how I looked at Big H, okay, at Big LV. I've been judged, and some of those days when the way I looked, I have to agree, like, you know what, honey? I wasn't looking glamazon vibes. I wasn't bringing those glamazon vibes, honey. I wasn't bringing those leopard vibes, like, with what I was wearing. And then I learned as I went along that, you know, you do need to look polished. You do need to look nice when you go to the freestanding stores. I feel like department stores are different, but these freestanding stores, I feel like they're just kind of different. The next thing is here. She goes up the next floor, her and her mother-in-law. And she's walking around, and then there's a man. They walk by him, and then she picks her bag from the display, and then he walks up to her and says, do you need any help? And she's like, oh no, I just wanted to see the price of it. He said, oh, it says the price. She says, he smugly said the price while never stopping to assist us continue walking with his nose past in the air. Well, you walk past him yourself, okay? You walk past him as well, because originally she walks past him and doesn't say hello, doesn't say anything to him. Maybe you had your nose up in the air. I'm sorry. People bring this sometimes on themselves, and I think people overthink these things, and people think that the CA is going to be rude anyway before they walk in the store. So they think, oh, I'm going into Louis Vuitton, I'm probably not their target audience, would be super rude to me. And then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and then it just fulfills itself. Could the CAs have been nicer? Probably could have been a bit warmer to her, but it's a tourist location, Las Vegas. You know, by the way, I'm a gambling girl, I'm a casino girl myself. I would love to go to Vegas. My husband and I both love to go. We love going to casinos. You know, they have a lot of, obviously, you have locals who live in Las Vegas, but you have people who are coming to gamble, okay? So people who are coming to spend a ton of money. Then there are a lot of like conventions and events and stuff. Vegas is known for that. when I was running my beauty business, there was this like really famous beauty convention that would happen every year for like wholesalers and retailers in the beauty industry. So it's like known for that. So there's a lot of money in the city. I'm not saying that she's not important, but you know, like she got herself dragged because she didn't come prepared, and that is why we do these dragging videos before, because I don't want people to get dragged. One of the biggest criticisms about my videos, this is why I always tell you, pick somebody else, is that like I'm always on the side of Louis Vuitton, I'm always on the side of the brand, whatever. I can understand the brand side a lot more because I have my own company. And when you have your own company, particularly if you've dealt with retail like me, and even right now, like I have my e-commerce business and we deal with a ton of people on the phone with telephone orders. People are so annoying and have no idea how frustrating they can be to deal with. Like people will be like, yeah, and then never buy. People want to like look things over. People want to think about things, whatever. And I'm not saying that you can't do that, but I just have a little bit more empathy for people who are in retail, way more maybe than others who've never worked retail. And frankly, running your own like retail business, like that is also a different like level, because you learn a lot about the types of people. For example, people who complain to the manager, like generally speaking in my experience, are the people who don't spend as much. Like the people who love to complain or want to escalate things to managers or whatever are people who haven't spent as much. Whereas the people who spend a lot, if they complain, trust me, like if someone at Louis Vuitton at this location is like a big spender and they're spending 6 figures a year, you better believe if that VIP complains, everyone at that Louis Vuitton is going to go to that VIP, they're going to make it right, because it's very rare that big spending people complain, because I feel like people who spend a lot are just different, but also get better treatment, get different treatment, and we know that. Anyway, back to this review. I think that she just overreacted, and I think that she was in her head and she kind of projected onto to the CAs. We weren't there, we couldn't see the look that they gave her. Generally speaking, with dragging reviews, I like to believe the dragging reviewer. The next dragging review is from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. This was a disgrace to all LVs and the LV brand. For a luxury store, I expected the bare minimum and helpful staff. I came with my boyfriend and his family, and while they were being helped by someone, I was wondering, and I wanted a quick price check on an item out of curiosity. I was met with a rude and unhelpful response from a worker who was very quick to deny me any help and made it seem like I was a bother when I simply wanted to check something. I wanted a quick price check. In other stores, other staff were happy to oblige my request, even if they were not my direct help. I was appalled at this disrespect, especially when my boyfriend and his mother were purchasing products. I see from many other reviews, this is one of the many complaints of this staff being rude. I'm extremely disappointed and recommend no one shop at this LV. They need to have an attitude adjustment or have staff retrained. Okay, so I'm reading up on the Amsterdam Louis Vuitton locations, because I think we're going to Amsterdam this summer. I think, like you'll see like with the trips, because I have South Africa, I'm going to Europe, but I think we're going to pass through Amsterdam, and hopefully I'll go to this like boutique. This is the Louis Vuitton Amsterdam on PC Hoofdstraat, so hope to visit it. Okay, a few things. This is really interesting because I think like they probably just thought this person is with like her boyfriend, like she said she was with her boyfriend and his family, so they were just like, okay, whatever. And also when she said that she just wanted to get the price check, why couldn't she ask the CA who was helping her boyfriend and his mum? Like, I don't get that. That's number one. Number two, if you want the price for something, I don't know if this is the same in the Netherlands, but in France all prices are by law, all prices have to be like put by the product. So you don't need to like open things or check to look for a tag or anything. That's in France. I don't know about the Netherlands because I haven't shopped in Amsterdam, but I don't see the problem of just going up to a CA and saying, hello, how much is this? It was probably a handbag, and also you have the app, so why not just get the app, choose the Netherlands or whichever country in the EU, and then just see the EU price. Like, it's so painless. Like, I don't know why people stress themselves out. Like, you also have the app. I mean, you're in the Louis Vuitton store, why don't you just go and ask a CA? Just go ask a CA, like, how much is it? Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm trying to think, obviously I cover Louis Vuitton like on this channel like a lot, so at this point like I know how much the Cousin is in euros, I know how much the Dauphine is in euros, and I know how much like things are in euros. I can respect that. Maybe for me it's like different, but I don't understand if someone doesn't know the price. Like, why would you not just go up to a scene and say, hey, I just want to know the price of this Cousin, or what's the price of the coffret trestle? Can you tell me? Like, I don't get it. Or do people feel weird asking the CA because then the CA might think, oh, they're not going to buy it. They're just here looking around. They don't have money to buy it. Is it like this feeling like people feel weird that maybe the CA will think they don't have money? Like, I don't get why people stress themselves out doing this. Can someone explain this to me in the comments? Like, I'm genuinely confused, and I don't get it. The final review is also from the Amsterdam store. An assistant was assigned to you for safety reasons. You couldn't browse. The atmosphere was super pressured. They clearly want you to decide on what to buy instantly. The salesperson judged us purely because of how we looked and did not bring the bag I wanted to see. Instead, he brought the cheapest bag to show us, as he clearly thought I could not afford any others. Even though I pointed out what I wanted, after less than 5 minutes, we were basically told to leave. I most likely would have purchased a bag if he had not been so dismissive and judgmental. Okay, so there are two things here. On one hand, I agree with the client. On the other hand, I don't. On the one hand, it's unfortunate that they were not shown the bag that he wanted to see, that she wanted to see. It's a woman who's writing this review. It's unfortunate that she wasn't shown the bag that she wanted to see, and then the CA brings out a bag that he thinks that she can afford. That's wrong, and I don't like when CAs do that, because you don't know, like, particularly if at Louis Vuitton, like Louis Vuitton has a wide range of clients, that people who buy, you know, people buy custom trunks that are 6 figures, people buy exotics, people buy all kinds of things, and then, you know, the troll egg chairs that we all hate. By the way, we all hate the troll egg chairs, no one likes them. And then there are people who buy, you know, other things, smaller items and all the rest of it. So there's a wide range of people who shop at the brand. So that is super annoying. And yeah, the CA did judge them for how they looked, and didn't bring the bag I wanted to see. I most likely would have purchased a bag if he had not been so dismissive and judgmental. After 5 minutes, we were told to leave. Okay, this is wrong. However, at the beginning here, she's like, you can't browse, the atmosphere is super pressured, they clearly want you to decide what to buy. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Louis Vuitton has an anti-browsing strategy in Europe. You guys can dress it up how you want. You can say they want to give one-to-one service, they want to make sure that you're getting the best service. It's an anti-browsing strategy as well as being one-to-one service, for sure. For me, it's fine. I love the Louis Vuitton brand. And if I'm going into a freestanding Louis Vuitton store, I'm going to ensure that I'm buying something. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter if it's a notebook, if it's a perfume, SLG, whatever. Something from men's for my husband, or ready to wear for myself, or whatever bag, whatever it is. If I decide to buy something from Louis Vuitton, I will make sure that I go and buy something, right? But here she's saying how, you know, she wasn't allowed to browse, she wasn't allowed to look around, she wasn't allowed to, you know, do that. And it's like really pressure, and they want you to make a decision. I've said this before, freestanding boutiques, particularly freestanding Louis Vuitton boutiques in Europe, they want you to buy, what are you buying today? Even when I spoke to my husband about his experience at the New Bond Street Louis Vuitton, he said he had a good experience, but they were like, would you like to buy it? Would you like to buy it? Try it on shoes. Are you going to buy them? You're going to buy them. Like, they want to know, are you buying it? Yes or no? Okay. So like this idea that you're going to go into a freestanding store and like browse and browse and browse, and you're going to kind of be left alone to touch every single thing and to browse, like, that's not going to happen. You know, generally speaking, there'll be some freestanding Louis Vuittons where maybe they're a little bit more relaxed, but this Amsterdam store is very busy. It gets a lot of tourists. It gets a lot of tourists. It doesn't surprise me that they will have these, like, you know, the CA will be there with you, and the CA will not kind of give you space to breathe and not kind of give you that breathing room. Like, that doesn't particularly surprise me at all. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think about that final review. I think the final review is kind of a draw. It's super annoying. If to me, something which I found as well is I don't like when LVCAs show you something that's cheaper because they think that's what you can afford. You should show people what they asked to see, because you don't know like when the person's going to buy it, generally speaking. But I get it. At tourist locations, there are a lot of people just browsing who never buy. So sometimes the CA might just be like, let me just show the person the cheapest thing. So they buy that. So at least they buy something. But for me, I don't like when people do that to me, because I might want to buy it later down the line. I might consider to buy it another time or whatever. And particularly for me, just because I love Louis Vuitton, I'll always be going to Louis Vuitton. I'll always buy things from Louis Vuitton, whether I'm buying in Johannesburg or buying abroad, right? But then at the same time, clients also need to be up on game and need to have the tea that these brands really don't want you to browse at freestanding stores, particularly in Europe. And that's been my experience. Like, they don't want you to browse, they will pressure you to buy. So here she's being pressured to buy, you're gonna buy, you're gonna buy, you're gonna buy, like being pressured to buy, like it's a freestanding store. I think if you want to browse at Louis Vuitton's, go to department stores. They're more than willing. It's fine. I'm trying to think. Galeries Lafayette, Louis Vuitton's completely fine to browse in there. I've browsed in there many times. It's fine. One in Paris. Harrods, Louis Vuitton, absolutely fine to browse. I did buy my Rosalie there, but you can browse there for ages and no one will pressure you to buy anything. Same thing with the Selfridges one. You can browse there. They'll ignore you though. They're not going to be like, hey, whatever. They're not going to be like, oh my God, can I help you? Whatever. They're just going to blank you, but you can browse in there. But these like freestanding stores do not want people just looking. They want to know, are you buying something today? So I think it's something that you should be aware of. I'd love to know what you guys think about today's dragging review, like selection of stories from Louis Vuitton, from America and from the Netherlands. Love to hear your opinions. These videos have kind of taken on a life of their own. You guys seem to enjoy them. I enjoy them. I love reading about locations I'm planning to travel to. So I would love to go to Amsterdam. I was talking to my husband about it as well. Like, we need to go to Amsterdam. Like, once we're just done with Paris, maybe quickly pass by there. So hopefully you'll see me in Amsterdam, hopefully. But I'm not making any promises, so don't be like, you didn't go to Amsterdam. I might not go, might go. We'll see what happens. But if we go, I'm absolutely going to this boutique on the PC Hoofstraat because I've heard so many things about it and I'd love to experience it in person. But I'll make sure I buy something so I avoid getting dragged, honey, because I'm not trying to get dragged. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video.